Some of the best movie villains of all time have come from the Star Wars franchise, and today I wanted to rank them and see where they stack against each other. Now my only rule for this tier list is that I'm only ranking villains from the main movies, episodes 1 through 9. And with that out of the way, let's start with episode 1, one of the best villains in Star Wars, at least visually, and that is Darth Maul. Now I could put Darth Maul in S tier just on looks alone. And his scene in episode 1, when the double lightsaber came out, will forever be a classic. It's paired with John Williams' score, is such a good scene. But while Darth Maul does defeat Qui-Gon Jinn, a master, he then proceeds to get sliced in half by a Padawan, Obi-Wan. And unfortunately that brings him down to A tier. He's very close to S tier, but he drops down a rank because he gets sliced in half by a Padawan. Now up next we got Count Dooku. Not as cool as Darth Maul. He's not lame, but he doesn't really have a lot going for him. He does put up a really good fight against Yoda, and he absolutely destroys two pretty well-trained Jedi against Anakin and Obi-Wan in episode 2. But then again, he loses to Anakin Skywalker in episode 3 like it was nothing. He kind of puts up a wimpy fight, and he kind of dies like a wimp, so he's going in a B tier. Now, very similarly to Darth Maul, I think General Grievous has such a great design. The four arms, the spinning lightsabers, the combination of like a real heart and an android is such a cool design. Design alone would put him in S tier. But he's not exactly smart, but unfortunately he does die. The same movie he's introduced. Doesn't really put up much of a fight, kinda gets destroyed by Obi-Wan, so he's going to A tier. Now moving on from the prequels, going into the original series, up first is Grand Moff Tarkin. We are putting him straight at A. The main reason Grand Moff Tarkin is straight at A, even though he does disappear in episode 4, blows up with the Death Star. Grand Moff Tarkin is the only, human character that doesn't use the Force that is able to stand up to Vader. Like, Vader listens to Grand Moff. There's a couple scenes where you just see Vader basically kneeling to him, and it is just intimidating. This man is so intimidating. I think he deserves the A spot for sure. Now finally, you already know, Darth Vader, one of the best movie villains of all time, probably still the best villain in Star Wars, and luckily, his character was not ruined by the sequel trilogy. He is 100% going into S tier and deserves it. I mean, Jesus, this guy has a whole soundtrack dedicated to him. One of the best villain themes of all time. Vader is just so scary and so intimidating. Basically a perfect villain. Now up next is where it gets a little wishy-washy. We're going to the Emperor. Episodes 1 through 6, including Palpatine. The Emperor would be right up S or A tier. You know, he was controlling everything. He was the man behind the scenes as Palpatine. And then he was controlling Vader in episode 4 and 5, and then he actually was about to take out Vader, like he actually stood a chance against him. Like, Palpatine should go to S tier. But then episode 9 happened. Episode 9 resurrected Palpatine, made him this super overpowered, ridiculous old man that loses to Rey. And while his power might be great, his character is ruined. I'm putting the Emperor at C. I legitimately think episode 9 ruined the Emperor. So up next is a real stinker. We are getting into the sequel trilogy of movies. Up first is General Hux from episode 7. Straight into F tier. He is just a space Nazi. There are people that try to defend him, and then I say, go watch the movies again, and I don't know why you're defending him. He's just a loud space Nazi. He's basically just space Hitler, Star Wars Hitler. There's literally no other character traits. There's nothing I can see to defend General Hux as a good villain. I think he belongs in F tier. Now this next one is one of the first villains that I think was disappointing. Kylo Ren actually stood a chance of being a really good villain. Not quite S tier, but maybe A tier. Like episode 7, Kylo Ren would definitely stand in A tier. And then episode 8 came out, and he's a big whiny baby. While he did kill Snoke, he didn't really turn into the villain that I think we all wanted. And then episode 9 came out, and he didn't really do anything. He kind of became a good guy, while not really, so he's just sitting at C. I'm glad Adam Driver is acting as Kylo Ren. He does a good job there. But the actual character is kind of meaningless, even though he's Han Solo's kid. It really doesn't matter. Now this next one I just threw in for fun, Captain Phasma, straight to F tier, you already know. I just think it's hilarious that this character, while visually looks so cool, it's just a nothing of a character. It's supposed to be Finn's great nemesis, and they have a battle in episode 8, and then she falls to her death straight to F. She just nothing of a character. Now this last one is another very disappointing villain. Could have been great, could have been the Emperor level of great, but Snoke is just a wasted character. Unfortunately, episode 8 ruined Snoke. I think legitimately episode 7 set him up to be a pretty big deal, kind of a force to be reckoned with. Then episode 8 comes out and he gets cut in half by Kylo Ren and Rey, and it's so lame, and I think it's kind of stupid, and it kind of shows how weak he is, that he couldn't even defend himself against these two significantly weaker beings, and I'm putting him in D. I think Snoke is just okay. He's like kind of bad, actually. And we're actually not done. There is one more villain that takes the cake. So the last villain we're going to talk about is Disney. Good old Disney. See, I could put Disney in S tier because it truly is the worst villain. Like, Disney has done the most damage to our beloved characters, has really just been the final nail in the coffin for every character we love. And that is kind of a villainous thing if you really think about it. Like, Disney should probably be an S tier. But I think what makes a good villain is somebody you love to hate. You just love to hate him. Even Darth Vader, like, man, he's so cool. God, I hate him. I love how much I hate him. Disney, I don't love you. I don't love to hate you. I just hate you. I think Disney is responsible for ruining a lot of these characters on the list. The reason the Emperor is at C is because of Disney. The reason Kylo Ren didn't become a good villain is because of Disney. So honestly, Disney, you deserve an F for a fuck you. Anyway, that's my list. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. Talk to y'all later.